Well, well, well. It's a Friday and Titus is putting out a podcast. What's up? Welcome back to the MVM Show. I'm your host, Titus, and we're going to go over some duck hunting stuff in this episode. Can you believe it? Not ranting and raving about politics, and trust me, I could. I already got notes for another one. But today, we are going to go over some very important information. Going to talk about stuff from California Waterfowl and the Capital Insider, which is a newsletter that they put out. It's like a 10-minute read. If you support and believe in the California Waterfowl Association, which I highly suggest you join and support if you're a California hunter, and you can even do it if you're not. If you come to the state and hunt, they do great things, and I know some people in high positions there, and even the top person himself, which he's retired now. Met him at a duck dinner, got to talk a lot to him, really respected him and liked him a lot. He's retired now, but anyways, we're gonna go over some stuff that is coming up, that could be happening, that will be happening, some bills, stuff like that. Before we get started, though, don't forget, if you want a molar choke, I can't preach it enough. I'll always support it, and I do my best on every single episode to talk about molar chokes, and that is, you got to get it. They did go up a little bit, but just remember, we have a 10% discount code. It will take 10% off at checkout, and you put in the code MVM, like the MVM show, MVM 2024, all one word, all caps, and you'll get 10% off on any purchase of those chokes. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you remember, a while back, before anybody even knew about the season date changes, which people that get this newsletter and pay attention to the California Waterfowl Association website, you would see it now. But I had mentioned this, a month, 6 weeks ago, talking about these things that have to do with the military / vet hunt versus the youth hunt. So there is confirmation of those things. But let's just go ahead and start into the 2025-2026 season updates for California. The season dates that are set, they will have another vote in April to confirm, which is next month. So, I mean, once they put this information out, it's pretty much set in stone. So you can guarantee, look at your calendars, pull them out, pull your phone out on your calendars. The opener for the Sacramento Valley, Balance of the State, San Joaquin, all these zones and more is going to be October 18th. So Saturday, October 18th, 2025 will be the opener for those zones, and look forward to it. It's just basically right back to the third weekend in October. And just to confirm, because I'm going to pull up my calendar real quick, just to make sure I'm not lying to you, as far as the third Saturday, and yes, it's the third Saturday. So just checking, because it is the 18th, right? But just making sure that lands there like it does. And then it would end, the season would end in all the zones besides like the Northeastern and some of those other ones. It would end January 28th, which is a Wednesday, which is what's been happening. So no surprise there. Already kind of put this information out. I don't think I did the openers and the close, but this leads me into the next thing, and that is the military vet / hunt / I shouldn't say / military vet hunt, and then the youth hunt. What's been happening the last 3 years because of the vet hunt coming along, they've put it's just kind of landed wrong, basically. But basically, it always used to be like a week after that they would have the youth hunt. And I always, for a long time, have taken youth hunters out until my daughter got old enough to do it and wanted to do it. Then I haven't done it with the guys that I used to take out. A lot of them aren't even juniors anymore. We go way back, right? Shout out to all you guys, the OGs, John, Adam, Gunner, Nathaniel, Morgan. Who else was there? The original group. I'm talking about the very first one. Jake, I don't know if Jake was there on that first one. I think he was. Who else was there? There was someone I'm missing. I'm sorry, because if you're listening right now, you want to kill me. But, man, that was a cool video. In fact, that makes me actually want to go back and watch that. I played some sick music and was scrolling and panning by the boys. You know, they're all between, I don't know, 11, 12, up to maybe 15, something like that, 16. But it's good times, man. Good times. Miss those days. I go back to that and do that again. And I tell you what, they were epic hunts. And they were a week after, so it got a week rest. And these birds were in thick, and they were stupid. That's just what happens, right? They haven't been pressured. So we had really, really good hunts. And if you want to go watch those on the YouTube channel, you just have to go back like, man, what would that even be now? 8 years ago? 9 years maybe? I mean, at the very beginning, right? And I guess you just have to read the title and figure it out, the youth hunt or whatever. I'm going to have to go find it. It's somewhere in like, let's see, what would that be? Maybe the 16, 17 playlist or 17, 18 waterfowl season playlist, something like that. Between 16 and 18, go look it up. I have all those hunts from each season in one playlist, so you can just jump to the year. Be a lot easier to find. But anyways, I'm going to do that myself after I get done with this episode of podcast. So that's how it's always been. There was never a veteran military hunt in California until 3 seasons ago. This year was the 3rd season. 1, 2. No, this was the 4th season. Wow. Because my first one shot all mallards. The second one, I shot mallards and a hybrid. I'm not a hybrid. I mean a Euro. No, that was, okay. Yeah, so all mallards. Then I did, man, has it been 4? I can't believe that. You know how I am now. Now I got to backtrack here. Hold on a second. I think it's been 4 seasons. And you know what? I haven't even talked about, that's actually, I'm going to write that down. I need to talk about that vet hunt. Really, I should have Kevin on for that. Me and Kevin hunted this year in the vet hunt. But, okay, so I need to write this down here. Let's see here. The first time, my goal was 7 Drake mallards. That was 4 years ago. So that was 1. The second season. Okay, I know what the second season was. It actually wasn't super great. It was, I got my limit. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It was good, but I've seen it better. And mind you, the vet hunts, the way they've been landing, and the reason I'm going to tell you this and then tell you what's going on with the military and then the youth. The military would be basically almost a week and a half to 2 weeks after. So deep into February, I mean, full plumage. Birds are dumb. They haven't been messed with at all. I mean, with what little the juniors even do, right? Like, there's not a ton out there hunting. So, I mean, they're not even getting full-blown pressure, right? So season 1, 7 Drake mallards. Season 2 was like a pintail, I think 2 cinnamons. And these are all on hunts, right? And whatever. What else did I get? I know some mallards. Okay. Anyways, random bag, right? And I got it fairly easy, but I wasn't like off the hook like I thought it was going to be. And there was no one hunting on the refuge that I hunted. All right. Season 3, that was epic. Trifecta. And then mallards and Euro. That's on video too. And that's the one Thomas is like, whoa, and throws the can of Mountain Dew and freaks out because he's like, Euro left, left. Boom. Make a 60-yard shot with my 28 gauge heavy 12 and fold it. Then Rocky finds it deep in the tulies. Epic. So yes, it is 4 seasons. Wow, this is the 4th season. Okay, so I had to talk that through. Sorry about that. 7 mallards on this year's vet hunt. No video. I got a couple clips of that I'll probably put on YouTube, and it would be just a YouTube short. I guess I could stick that out whenever, but not doing nowhere near as many videos. I think I put 8 out this year. I honestly wanted to put like 20 out, and it just, it wasn't that I wasn't trying. It was just not working out. But long story. Anyways, and I'm okay with that. It's not like top priority. I try to do the best I can. That's all I can do. But I got $7. I got and one, so 6 drakes in a hen. That was a Scotch double. That we'll talk about that story later in another podcast. But amazing hunt. I think I shot my birds in 29 minutes. But there's a long story to that. You have to hear the whole background of it. So, anyways, I will get Kevin on for that. In fact, I seen him today. And we exchanged some videos of us rolling out in our boats and hunting and all that stuff. So we'll do that. That's easy. I can get Kevin on here pretty easy. We'll do it over the phone. But anyway, so the reason I'm saying all of that is this year it's changing. And I'm not upset. My feelings aren't hurt. Do I like hunting with a big break? Oh, absolutely. Who wouldn't? Anybody that could would, right? But I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but I've said it to my friends. They need to switch it. Oh, this could get lengthy, okay? Because I have a lot of things going through my head. The way it was set now, the last 2 years, to me, the juniors have got ripped off because there was no break. So the refuges got hunted on Wednesday, and then Saturday it was a junior hunt. It's like that's just like a regular hunt day. Yes, it's later in the year, but it's not that good. This year, did the boys get their birds? I believe so. I believe they all got their birds if I remember right. But it just takes away from the younger ones that struggle more, need more opportunity. There wasn't as much because there's still Learys. You know what I mean? So I was like, my thoughts were, if you're going to keep making it where the refuge closes on Wednesday after Wednesday's hunt, and then Saturday you're doing why don't you just swap us? We're big boys, the vets and military guys. Yes, some of them are new and just trying to get in the sport. That's the point of it, kind of bring some new people in. But like, it's like, I'll swap. I'm a big boy. I know how to hunt. I don't need all these advantages. If you're going to keep, to me, kind of jacking with these hunt days, and I know why they're doing it, because they're not just thinking of refuges, right? They're also having to play all the public land that you can hunt 7 days a week. So guys are taking advantage of that, right? So I get that. And you got so many days to work with when you're working with the season, right? Well, I said, dude, let's just switch it. Let's just, if that's how it's going to be again. I heard it was going to be different this year. And obviously that wasn't the truth, because that in the summertime, they're like, oh, yeah, this is what it's going to be for next year. And I'm like, sweet, one more year. And then the young guys, can have a good go at it. Well, that wasn't true. But so this is what's going to happen. And it's okay. I'm good with it. I'm not stressing out. I'm going to get my birds. But what they're doing is they are going to have the vet military hunt on January 31st. So now there's basically not being a rest. So, I mean, I guess you could say some places aren't getting hunted on the 29th and 30th. The refuges for sure aren't, but other public land, that's 7 days a week, they're not getting hit 29, 30. So I guess you could say there's a little bit of a rest. So the military vet guys are going to get just that Saturday, the last Saturday in January. And then the youth hunters are going to be getting February 7th. So they're going to get basically, well, I guess a 6-day rest, because the vet hunt will be February 1st. So January 31st, February 1st of 2026. And then the junior hunt will be on the 7th and 8th. And it will be good. They're going to have a good hunt. There's going to be plenty of birds, lots of birds. It's going to be good times. I think they're going to have a good time, good hunt. So there's that. Plus, in April, also big news that this is the year for the Three-pintail. Now, that being said, they do got to vote on it again in April for California, but I believe, as much as they've advocated for it, that they are going to do it. So, be 2 drakes and a hen. And so, yeah, just our 7-bird limit like it is. Not just. It's pretty awesome, right? It's pretty liberal. I'd be cool if they cut that back, but then it's 7 birds, right? But 3 pintails, so 2 drakes and a hen. Man, how awesome is that? To me, there's so many pintails. I think it's only right and fair to be able to shoot 2 drakes, right? Like I this year, it's like I shot a hen pintail early morning overcast like a dummy, and it's like I don't know. For me, and how I like to be disciplined, that was very disappointing for me. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that, but it's just like, if there's any hen I do not want to shoot is a hen pintail. And I shot 2 this year. The second one, I'm trying to remember what happened on the second one. So there was 2. I didn't hardly kill any drakes this year, like 3, 4 pintails. And I'll say this, I wasn't really hunting places for pintails. Let's just put it that way. It was, it was mainly teal stuff, mainly mallard stuff, and then teal stuff secondary. So it wasn't really like I was putting myself in the position to kill pintails. I could have if I want to, but that's just not what I was doing. So anyways, so that's going to be awesome. I'm like, man, I feel like we have a 96% chance that we'll have a 3 pintail limit in California this year. I mean, if we don't, we don't, but, yeah. So I think that even if it's 2, right? Like to me, 3 is 2 because I'm not going to shoot a hen, but accidents happen, right? So I guess you need that buffer there. Me. So let's get into some of these bills. Okay, so I want to talk about, first is pretty interesting, and some of you probably won't be interested in this, but AB 764, it's basically hunting and wildlife management bills, and California Waterfowl is sponsoring 2 separate pieces of legislation that are being carried by Assembly Member Jeff Gonzalez, Republican from Coachella, and then Vice Chair of the Assembly of Water Parks and Wildlife Committee. So what this is, it would allow landowners and people who have a valid hunting license to take mute swans. So I'll shoot one of those. I know where there's lots of them, and it's definitely public to hunt, right? But let's listen to some background of this and why. Mute swans are a non-native species from Europe that have invaded some California waterways, including wetland areas in the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta. These exotic birds can be overly aggressive and drive away native waterfowl and other water birds while also causing significant disturbance and degradation of wetland habitats. The mute swan population continues to increase in California, up 71% over the last year and 535% over the long-term average. So, I mean, like I said, I know some places that are just absolutely infested with them, and they're threatening to spread to new areas. So, by adding mute swans to the list of exotic non-game birds that can be legally taken is essential for controlling their growing populations in California. So, pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what happens with that. Really, I am. And, it doesn't really give how they're going to do it. Like, I don't know if they're just going to open it wide open or if they're going to give so many tags out or if they're going to make it a draw. I don't know. I'd put in for it, though. I totally would. So, anyways, that's that. I think that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. Almost never thought I would see them do that. But when you start seeing that it's a problem and it's messing up other wildlife and I shouldn't say wildlife, waterfowl, you got to do something about it. So I'm glad they're doing that. The next one I wanted to go over was AB 1187. And this actually is from a shocker Democrat from Arleta, Celeste Rodriguez. This is the stupidest thing. Like I said, I'm not going to get mad on politics on this one, but I will say how stupid this is. Listen to this. So she's moved for this bill. It's a firearms and safety certificate bill. Listen to this. This would require people. Now, this is laughable. Are there even people moving to California in the first place? You couldn't even find a U-Haul since 2020. I don't even know if you can now a little bit. There was a mass exodus out of California. And I know for a fact because I would try to get U-Hauls in the past since 2020, 21, 22, 23. You couldn't get one. You couldn't find one. People were renting and getting out of Dodge, man. And I get it. I understand it. I'm here fighting the fight of faith, right? But like people are out, right? I've got church, friends, family. That's more important to me than just saying I can't deal with this state anymore. Like, I get it. I get it. If I didn't have all those ties, I'd leave too, but I ain't leaving. I'm going to stand strong unless something crazy forces me, right? So anyways, this is what this does. So it would require people moving to California, which is a farce. It cracks me up. If you've moved to California in the last 5 years, please comment in Spotify or YouTube. I would love to know. And if you did, why? If it's not too personal. Because I just have a hard time believing anybody's moving to California unless you're an illegal alien, right? Like, that's about the only people coming in as people illegally crossing the border. And thank God for President Trump that's doing something about that now. I mean, they're basically shutting it down, from 10,000 a day to maybe 300 on the whole border that goes along the United States of America. So, and he said he's still not happy with that. He wants to shut down. But anyways, so it would require people moving to California with firearms to obtain a firearms safety certificate, which includes a minimum 8-hour safety course within 60 days. How stupid is this? Literally. CWA believes this bill is unnecessary, especially for hunters moving to California who have already completed hunter safety and would serve as further disincentive for people to participate in hunting and the shooting sports. Absolutely. First off, no one that if anybody knows about this and they're gunners and they know they've got to do this, they ain't going to come here. It's like I almost believe people would not come here just for that. And if they do, they're going to be ticked off, right? Like, they don't want nothing to do with it. It's absolutely stupid. It's so stupid. I don't want to get stuck on that. But that's one you better pray doesn't pass, I can tell you right now. That's the most idiot bill, one of many that I've seen. Go figure, it's Democrat. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one's pretty interesting. We'll probably get close to wrapping this one up, actually. Is the Fish and Wildlife Services Director nomination. I think this one, okay, I haven't done no studying into this guy, but from what I'm reading on here, it sounds pretty good. And yeah, I think the dude's going to get some flack. And for the fact that he's trying to do what he's doing, I'm thinking, okay, I think this is probably a good dude. All right, check this out. So pretty cool. On February, I cannot talk, 12th, 2025, President Donald Trump nominated, and well, for the fact that Trump nominated him, I mean, he must be pretty solid, Brian Nesvik to serve as director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, succeeding Martha Williams. Nesvik's career with the Wyoming Game and Fish Department began in 1995 as a game warden. He advanced through various roles, including Cody Regional Wildlife Supervisor and Chief Game Warden. In March 2019, Governor Mark Gordon appointed him as a department's director, a position he held until his retirement in September 2024. Now, green groups expressed concerns over his approach to endangered species protections, noting his testimony advocating for the delisting of grizzly bears. Wow. Can you believe that? How sick would that be? And I'm curious. I'd love to hear your thoughts of what you think would happen if they delisted grizzly bears and opened that back up again in the United States of America. Do you think it's going to be the big man's game, where you got to have 50,000, 100,000, $500,000 to do it? Do you think it's going to be a fair draw? I'd be curious. Comment down below in YouTube if you're watching on there. Or remember, I'll say this again, Spotify, you can comment now. And I can comment back, but I can only comment once for some reason. I think I'm probably not on the influencer side of the house of the podcast, because influencers should be able to, I believe, reply to everything. But for some, I just got to figure that out. But anyways, comment on Spotify or YouTube, and leave a rating and review in iTunes, or not iTunes. I always say that, Apple Podcast. All right. And do it for Spotify if you would, please. I would love to hit 500 this year by the end of the year. Ratings on Spotify. It'd be awesome. I think we're like 351 or something like that at the time of this recording. I think that would be awesome, though. I think. I mean, what do I know, though, right? Even wolves. But we'll see if that ever. A guy like this, though, I could see him definitely doing that. It also goes on to say Nesvik's nomination is currently under review by the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee before proceeding to a full Senate confirmation vote. Actually, I'm gonna try to keep my eyes peeled on that. I'll keep you guys updated. Because I've been watching everything so closely with all this stuff going on. I've kind of started understanding that stuff more, and so, I guess basically he's got to get reviewed for his nomination by the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. If he passes that, then he would go to a full Senate confirmation. Then it's a done deal, right? So I'll keep my eyes peeled on that, and take a note here, because I'd like to know if he gets in, which I'm sure he will. Now it says Paul Souza, Region 8 Fish and Wildlife Service Director, who CWA has worked with on Klamath waterfowl and refuge hunting issues, will continue to serve as the acting director of FWS until Nesvik is confirmed by the Senate. So that's probably good. I'm assuming he's a good dude, and he's standing in that spot right now. But I'm definitely gonna look that up. And if you guys don't mind sitting for a second, Brian Nesvik, I'm going to look this up real quick and see where we're at in this situation. I feel like this is pretty worthy to know. So like I said, February 12th, he was nominated. Okay. Here's an update from 2 weeks ago. Well, you know what, though? Well, let's see here, because, yeah, it's just nomination. Let me see.
Welcome back for our farm and ranch news. Brian Nesvik, the former Wyoming Game and Fish Director, has been nominated by President Trump.
You guys want to listen to this? Let's listen to this. I'm going to hook this up. Just curious, right? I think you guys would be curious to hear this. Now, where did my cord go? Oh, where did I put that thing? Cords everywhere. Give me a second. Hold on. Let's see if there's anything. This is talking about signals a win for Western ranchers and wildlife, but maybe he'll have some more information. It's definitely a news channel deal here. Plug this in, hook it up to my phone. We'll listen to it for the first time together. Hold on. All right. Hopefully it's not too loud. All right, here we go.
Brian Nesvik, the former Wyoming Game and Fish Director, has been nominated by President Trump to lead the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. After retiring in early 2024 and returning to his ranch near Pinedale, Wyoming, Nesvik, an experienced game warden, brings deep knowledge of grizzly bear management, a factor Wyoming stock growers executive Jim Magagna sees as a positive for the West.
Well, that certainly is a tremendous blessing for Wyoming and for the West. I mean, he was unusual in his ability to work with us. He also manages the family ranch, so he's got that background, his wife's family's ranch, and been doing that. I may question him why he's willing to give up the ranch to go to D.C., but I'm thrilled that he's doing it.
Magagna said endangered species protections, when not needed to preserve the species, only become a hindrance to good management of wildlife and other uses on public and private lands, and this is something Nesvik understands.
So many of the issues out here that we deal with and that impact our industry are related to endangered species, to wildlife management, and to, frankly, to federal interference in our wildlife management. And so having someone back there who understands that the state wildlife agencies are best equipped to manage our wildlife.
Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon praised Nesbitt's nomination, highlighting his understanding of Western challenges and ensuring Wyoming has a voice in federal decisions. With a 30-year career in wildlife management, Magagna and the Wyoming stock growers see his appointment as part of a broader rise of Western leadership in Washington.
All right. Well, sounds good to me. He sounds like a solid dude. So, maybe that would just be in Wyoming that they would open up for grizzlies. I know it's pretty bad in that area. I'm trying to think when we were, in Montana too, they can be pretty thick because back when we were, me and my dad, man, I forgot about this, but I'm like, we seen a grizzly. If I'm wrong in this, just forgive me and I'll try to clear it up later, but I'm 95% sure we seen a grizzly when we were hunting in Montana for elk. But man, that's been a long time ago, and I remember that, and we were like, okay. Yeah, we did, 100%. We were coming up this ridge up into kind of a semi-meadow looking deal in wilderness and walked up on a grizzly bear and then just slowly backed out there. We were archery hunting, and we ended up leaving. So, I mean, I know they got them pretty heavy there too, so it's not about killing them off, right? We're not trying to make them extinct. It would just need to manage them. Same thing with the wolves, right? The Canadian wolves. Just they've come into California pretty bad. We've not the Canadian wolves, but wolves. And then in more of the northern states in the United States have got a lot of Canadian wolves too, which are huge, man. We've seen some of theirs in Montana too. I promise you their paws are literally the size of a horse hoof. Like that's how big around. If you think of a horse hoof, that's how big. They're huge, huge animals. And not something I want to tangle with. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this episode and found it kind of interesting. I think there was some good stuff in there to talk about. And glad to talk about some waterfowl. Excited about it. And it gave me some good ideas to have some other episodes. I talked to Thomas and Travis today. We're going to be talking about Connecticut. So you got some good episodes coming up. And we'll see you guys on the next one.